Well, it's a crisp, frosty November morning. It's just gone 7:30am, and I'm on my way into the station to catch the train to London Waterloo. Around me, commuters and day trippers are going about their days, mostly oblivious to the serious changes that could reshape the future of farming in Britain. Welcome to the HFG Podcast. Today we're heading right into the heart of Westminster on Autumn Budget Day, where farmers and their supporters from across the country are gathering to protest changes to inheritance tax. You might be wondering, why is someone from a machinery dealership making this trip? The truth is, these inheritance tax changes don't just affect farmers. They touch many of us personally. Several of our leadership team at Hunt Forest Group have family farms, so we understand what's at stake. But more importantly, our business depends on farming being profitable and our customers being able to invest in their futures. When they're under pressure, the whole rural economy feels it. That's why I and several of my colleagues are heading to London today to stand alongside our customers and show support in any way we can. With any luck, I'll be speaking to farmers and protest organisers to understand what's at stake and hear their views on the key topic of IHT. But there's a twist. Just last night, the Metropolitan Police announced an 11th hour change that's completely altered today's plans. Originally, tractors were set to line Whitehall in a powerful visual demonstration. Now that permission has been revoked. Protesters must remain in a confined area on Richmond Terrace, under the reasoning that tractors could cause serious disruption to businesses, emergency services, and Londoners going about their day. So emotions are bound to be running high. This protest has been weeks in the making, and many farmers were already en route with their vehicles when the news broke. Today's episode will capture those voices, the frustration, the determination, and the reality of what these changes mean for rural Britain. Right, we've just come over Westminster Bridge now. The sun's low. Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament are glowing in that early winter light. Honestly thought we'd see some tractors lined up in Parliament Square by now, but there is nothing. It's completely empty. Feels pretty strange. A bit eerie, actually. So we just turned onto Parliament Street, and well, it's dead quiet. There's a couple of farmers walking up ahead of us, jackets on, banners under their arms. Pretty hard to believe this is the same road that was 6 deep with tractors last time. They were bumper to bumper from Parliament all the way to Trafalgar Square. Today, nothing. That last-minute ban has really changed the landscape of this protest. Hang on, I can see a tractor. So we've just swung on to Horse Guards Parade, and we're heading towards the Farmers Club. And yeah, there's a few there. We've got some tractors. A couple tucked in Whitehall Court, and even a forager parked up. There's some farmers gathered around their machines, chatting, banners ready. After that quiet start, this feels pretty electric. You can sense it, there's something big brewing just up the road. Wow, here we go, Trafalgar Square, this is it. It's absolute chaos. There are police everywhere, blue lights flashing, the roundabout is absolutely rammed with tractors of every make and model, all crammed in tight. You can hear the air horns blasting in the background, banners flying, placards everywhere. And every road you look down, as far as you can see, there is a row of tractors, lights flashing. Seems to be plenty of news crews darting in and out, cameras rolling, grabbing interviews. And overhead, helicopters. The noise is unreal. London is gridlocked. The farmers are making their point, and they're making it loud. We've already heard stories this morning of protesters being arrested and then unarrested. There's plenty of videos flying around on social media already. And standing here now in Trafalgar Square, you can feel the tension. Police are being very vocal with a lot of the farmers that are gathered here. What a backdrop though. Nelson's column shooting up into the sky. The National Gallery framed perfectly against a clear blue November morning. It's almost pretty surreal. But let's not forget why we're here. It's budget day. Inheritance tax changes can make it harder for family farms to pass land and businesses down through generations. For many, this isn't just about money. It's about heritage, livelihoods, and the survival of rural communities. The hope among everyone here is that today's budget brings good news, that these IHT changes are scrapped, or at least the thresholds raised. I'm going off now to head into the crowd and try and find some farmers to talk to get their thoughts, their fears, and what they want to see happen today.
My name's Tom Janaway. We farm just outside Odeon, which is near Basingstoke, about 1,000 acres, mostly arable.
So what brought you here today?
I wanted to join in with the protests. I wanted to support my fellow farmer, and I'm pretty miffed about the changes, to be honest, to inheritance tax and to the SFI.
How do you feel these changes will affect your family farm or other farms?
It's really bad for us, actually. You know, we really are staring down the barrel of a massive inheritance tax bill, and as a result, we've completely just cut down on any investment. We would normally be replacing a tractor about now, but it's just not the case anymore.
And what's your biggest fear if these changes continue to go ahead?
It is a change to our farming method. It's a change to my way of life.
What would you say to the policymakers who've introduced these changes?
Well, am I allowed to swear?
Swear.
You can get but I would say really listen, properly just listen.
And what does farming mean to you personally?
Oh, we've been on that farm for 100 years. It's everything to me. Farming is who I am. It's who I want to be. It really is my everything.
I'm Henry Graham, farm on the outskirts of Newbury at West Berkshire. We're a beef and arable farm, family farm. And we're up here today in London, in all honesty, to show our detest to what the government have been doing to this rural economy. They have been, in the nicest possible way, raping off the people of the working class, of the people that do the jobs on the rural farms, and we are working people. Labour is supposed to stand up for working people. Why are farmers being discriminated against? You have the inheritance tax, so therefore I will lose my job when the farm eventually has to be sold, because half of it gets sold and put down to Rachel Reeves' back pocket, and then we'll then turn around, there will be other people unemployed, and it's just a catastrophic event that they do not realise what's going to happen. I can't even afford to buy my next truck because they've put around a tax on that. I can't put fertiliser on because they're taxing that also. This is outrageous what they're doing, and it needs to stop.
So if you could say something direct to the policymakers that introduced these changes, what would you say?
Talk to us. We are honest people. We want to speak to you. We would like to help you make an educated decision, because what you have is uneducated, and nicest possible way, a toddler could do a better job.
So, what does farming mean to you personally that these changes affect so much?
It's my life. I've done it ever since I was born, ever since I could push a little bit of silage up in front of cows. I've been born into it. I can't think of anything else. I do not want to change my job. I love every single minute. I don't care about the hours. That doesn't bother me. It's way of life. And furthermore, it's bringing forward a future generation. It's not just generation. You look after the farm. You never actually own it. You are just borrowing it for the time that we are on this earth. And this is what people don't fully understand. Agriculture is a gift, and we look after, and we are we look after the custodians. There we go. Thank you very much. We are custodians for this rural economy, and also the countryside and the way it looks.
And I guess ultimately, do you think rural voices are being heard in Westminster?
Not at all. They're blinkered. They don't care what we say. And this is why we're here in tractors. And this is why they shut Whitehall today, because the government is scared of what we can do. You can walk up and down anywhere around these streets. We've turned it into a traffic jam. We don't want to. We want to stay on our farms back at home. But you have made us come up here. We're quite happy going up and down our fields, tending to our livestock. But once again, you don't listen, and therefore it's your fault we're back in London, causing everybody's day-to-day lives getting worse because we're causing a traffic jam. It's your fault, Rachel Reeves, no one else.
Hi, Kurt.
Hello.
So what brought you up here today?
Well, we've come up here today, obviously Budget Day in London, to see what everybody's got to say up here.
So, what are the IHT changes going to affect? How are they going to affect you?
It's being implemented in April to a point. Hopefully I've got another 30 or 40 years left in me, but to my children and obviously the affluent area of Hampshire that we live in, it's ranging from $1 million to $1.5 million on IHT.
What would you say to the policy makers who've introduced the IHT changes?
Come out and listen to us. Time and time again, we've been up to Liverpool, we've been down to Parliament there. They just won't come out and listen to us. Just please come and talk to us.
Yeah. And how do you see the future of farming if this isn't addressed?
Hang on, I've got to think about that one. How do you see
the future of farming if this isn't addressed?
Two generations, family farms will be dead, if not earlier.
Yeah, and that affects you on a personal level, doesn't it? With obviously your boys.
It affects everybody. It affects you. You're working for a dealer. I'm not going to be buying stuff. My children aren't going to be buying stuff, and the effect ripples on.
A huge thanks to Tom, Henry and Kurt for sharing their honest opinions with me. It's clear this is a loaded and deeply emotive topic, and what really stands out, although everyone's situation might be a little different, today they're all here united in one common cause, their futures and the future of British farming. That sense of solidarity is powerful. Whatever happens in the budget today, these voices need to be heard. It's just gone midday now, and with the budget announcement set for 12:30, we're going to head back down Whitehall towards Downing Street. There's a big crowd gathered opposite the gates, banners up, voices carrying over the traffic. Squeezing in with the throng, it's great to be shoulder to shoulder with farmers and supporters, all of us waiting for news that could change the future of British farming. We've all spotted a few familiar faces in the mix, customers who have made the trip to London to stand up for their livelihoods. Things have gone a little bit static right now, so I'm going to grab a few minutes with Paul and Ed, our sales directors here at Hunt Forest Group, to hear their thoughts on what today means for farmers and for businesses like ours. So I'm here with Hunt Forest Group Sales Directors Ed Smales and Paul Burnett. So Paul, why is it important for us as Hunt Forest Group to be here supporting farmers today?
Martin, I think it's really important that we come up to London and stand side by side with our customers that are here protesting. I think it's an issue that's definitely going to affect us in the future, and just as a supplier, I think it's absolutely the right thing that we come and stand shoulder to shoulder with these guys and have a presence.
So Ed, what do you think showing up at a protest like this says about our relationship with the farming community?
I think it's really, really important that we're here, stood side by side. We're nothing without our customers. It's our business. We're a retail business. We rely on these guys to spend money with us, but also our own business. We're massively going to be massively affected from multiple angles, directly and indirectly, from this IHT tax. So stood here with our friends, our family and our customers is hugely important.
How do you personally feel about seeing the turnout here in Westminster today?
I think it's fantastic to see so many people here today. There's a huge amount of our own customers and also farmers from across the whole country. A huge amount of young farmers. Of course, they're going to be massively affected by this because ultimately they're the ones that will end up picking up the bill. So it's really lovely to see so many people, but also the support from the general public has been absolutely immense, and I don't think we can underestimate that, and that's massively appreciated.
So Paul, do you think the government fully understands the knock-on effect these policies have beyond the farm gate?
No, I don't think the government understand farming full stop in many ways, actually. And I know we've had lots of conversations about it, but the big issue, or the wider issue, definitely is commodity pricing in my eyes, because if the commodity pricing was where it should be and our customers were getting paid a fair price for what they're selling, then at the end of the day a lot of the discussions we're having right now probably wouldn't be in the focus lens. Farming in general just wants to be shaken up and the profitability of it looked at from the policymakers' perspective. So yeah, I definitely think that the government need to reassess where we are with farming in this country. And food security is really, really important. Without our customers, we're nothing at the end of the day. And I mean, we live on an island, so you'd like to think that we should be able to support ourselves, and I'm not sure we can under this government.
So Ed, how do you view the long-term impact of these tax changes on rural businesses like ours?
Well, talking from our perspective, we can already see it's having a massive impact on, sales and investment. Now, we have to think about our business and diversifying into different markets to make sure that we remain robust. We employ 200 people, and we've got 200 families to feed. That's the way I see it, and this is going to impact our business on sales, service, and parks. But at the same time, we have to give a really high level of service to our customers. That's what they expect, and that's what we'll deliver. So I think we just need to grit our teeth and get through this, and hope that the government changes or gets the message and makes some serious amendments to this, so hopefully it gives farming a better and brighter future.
I think Paul and Ed's views really echo what I've heard from everyone today. A sense that there's a lack of understanding from policymakers, and that the bigger picture stretches way beyond just inheritance tax. It's about confidence, investment, and ultimately the survival of rural communities and the businesses that depend on them. So I've just managed to catch Alan Miller from the Together Association. He's not a farmer, but he's here backing the cause.
Hi, I'm Alan Miller. I'm one of the co-founders of the Together Association, and we represent hundreds of thousands of the public across Britain.
Okay, so what brings you here today?
Well, for the last year, Together has been standing shoulder to shoulder with our farmers since the government reneged on their original promise pre-election to support farmers, and when they said they're going to impose the IHT death tax on them. And we've come out in towns, villages and cities around the UK, organising with our own members and supporters, supporting farmers, distributing leaflets and posters, getting calls to action with MPs and councillors. We organised a rally at Mill Hill Farm with veterans, farmers, public, businesses, because small businesses are also impacted, and we believe that the public all support our farmers, and we want this government to hear that and say we can't do without our farmers, and we've all got a common interest.
Sinead, what's the biggest thing you've seen that's affecting farmers and families already with these tax changes implemented?
Well, over the last 3 days, again, it's just been confirmed to me that like second, third, fourth, fifth generation farmers, who are really the backbone of our country and our culture, put the food on our table, they are facing an existential threat because they're not going to be able to continue if this goes through. And those people in the Treasury and DEFRA, they really don't seem to understand what the consequences, or they don't care, very contemptuous. And it's telling that they decided to put a Section 14 ban on tractors coming in today, when so many other things are allowed. It's like kind of two-tier policing, farmers being arrested. So I'm very concerned about our food security. I think we've seen it with energy, where energy prices are sky high now, and we're not prepared to allow farmers to get attacked. But the public have an interest. It's not just about farmers. It's not just because we like tractors or something. It's because we really take very seriously our food security and our way of life.
It's refreshing to hear a view from outside the agriculture industry and the rural community. Alan makes a great point. While most people understand the farmer's plight, the bigger picture is food security for the nation. This isn't just about inheritance tax, it's about keeping Britain fed and sustainable for the future. So Rachel Reeves has just wrapped up the autumn budget, and honestly, it's a pretty tough pill to swallow. Lots of us are going to be worse off moving forward. There was a mention of inheritance tax, and the planned changes are still going to go ahead as scheduled. The only real adjustment is around the £1 million threshold for family farms. It's something, but there's no major reliefs announced. And as you can imagine, the farmers here are still pretty disappointed. The crowd outside Downing Street has thinned down a bit, but the mood hasn't really shifted. The end goal is still the same, and these farmers are not backing down. Parliament is closed for the day now, and a few MPs have come up to speak with the protesters. We've just heard a very fiery speech from Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp, and I'm going to go see if I can grab him quickly for his views. If you could explain your support really for the farmers today that are here.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Chris Philp. I'm an MP, Conservative MP from Croydon. I'm Shadow Home Secretary. My grandfather was a farmer in Essex, in Saffron Walden, and I came here this afternoon to express my support for Britain's farming community, which is under attack from this appalling Labour government, particularly via the family farm tax, which means farms that have been passed down from one generation to another will have to be sold to pay this wretched tax. It'll put our food security at risk, it'll put food supply at risk, and it'll mean families that have farmed the same land for generations will be forced to sell up. I think it's devastating, not just for our country as a whole, for our food security, but it's devastating for families up and down the country as well. I voted against this in Parliament. I'll vote against it again, and if we Conservatives get back in, the first thing we'll do is scrap the family farm tax.
How great was that to hear an MP speaking with the same passion and common sense as everyone else here today. Impassioned, straight talking and really understanding what's at stake. It's clear this fight isn't over. The farmers here are determined, and today's budget might not have given them the answers they wanted, but it's only strengthened their resolve. It's dark now, and as I've just got back to my car, after a contemplative train journey home, I'd thought I'd share my reflection on what's been a long day. But one I'm proud to have been a small part of. Proud to stand alongside farmers and rural businesses, supporting a cause that affects every single one of us, whether directly or indirectly. From that frosty start this morning crossing Westminster Bridge hoping for tractors and banners, to the chaos at Trafalgar Square with air horns blaring and helicopters overhead, and then the quiet tension outside Downing Street as we waited for the budget announcement. It's been a day of contrasts, hope, frustration, determination, all rolled into one. Rachel Reeves has now delivered the autumn budget, and while there's plenty in there that will make life harder for many, there was mention of inheritance tax. The plan changes will go ahead as scheduled, but there is one adjustment worth noting: the £1 million threshold for family farm taxation. If a married farmer dies, they no longer have to leave £1 million of agricultural assets directly to their children. They can leave it to their spouse, and that spouse will be able to use the deceased £1 million allowance in addition to their own when passing assets to the next generation. It's a technical change, but for many families it could make a real difference in succession planning. Speaking to farmers, hearing their fears and hopes, and chatting with our leadership team about what this means for businesses like ours, and even catching Alan from the Together Association, reminding us that this isn't just about farming. It's about food security for the whole country. That's what makes days like this matter. So as I sit here in the dark, windscreen demisting, I can honestly say this. Today wasn't just about politics. It was about people, families, futures, and if nothing else, it's clear that British farming isn't giving up without a fight. Thanks for listening to this special episode of the HFG Podcast, and as always, stay connected, stay informed, and keep supporting rural Britain.